Gregory Fields coming to you live from Walnut Creek, where, as you can see over my shoulder, there are many protesters here today. This rally in actuality was supposedly in favor of Johannes Messerly, the ex-BART police officer who was convicted of involuntary manslaughter for killing Oscar Grant. When I ask, your reason for being here today is in support of whom?
The entire European American white community. I think there is a conversation that needs to be addressed between African Americans and European Americans. I think it has never occurred. The only thing we've had is a conversation from blacks to whites, but there's no return.
Okay.
And I think it's time, and I hope that whatever outfit you're with will allow us to express ourselves and to allow this position from, at least not necessarily from these guys' point of view, but from my point of view. I worked the streets in San Francisco during the zebra killings back in the 70s, and I'm very familiar with all kinds of crimes that have been committed against whites by blacks. And I think what's going on here today is essentially a distraction, or the support for Oscar Grant is essentially a distraction by the African American community to get away from the whole truth and the facts of black on white crime. And I think that's a sad thing. I mean, I could express my own anger. I'm pissed off at African Americans for all the crime they commit against white people throughout America. Every day this is going on. And it's been going on as far back as I know, at least 50 or 60 years. Before that, I think it was different. I think the African Americans were being really worked over pretty good, especially in the South. But that's not been true for the last 50 or 60 years, and it's probably time to stop it. I don't think African American people know that.
Well, tell me something, because apparently, and I hear exactly what you're saying, but it sounds to me that, I mean, quite naturally, when I walked up, apparently I was construed to be a con man. So are you saying all African American are criminals?
Oh, don't be silly.
No, I'm not being silly. I'm just following up with what you just said.
Every white person a KKK? Well, some people think that way. And I suppose some people think all blacks are no good, you know?
I'm just trying to understand your point today. No, that's all.
No, of course not. My concern is that the African American community will not acknowledge all of the crimes that are being committed against white people. However, in the case of the whites committing crimes against the African Americans, the white community on a daily basis pleads for forgiveness and they're sorry. They do that in our churches, we do that in our newspapers or what have you. But we do not get that from the African American community. That's my opinion.
Well, I'm here in support of Johannes Messerly. I've worked for BART for 34 years, and so the police department is like, part of my family. I've heard this case from every side possible. I spent a year in the boardroom listening to both sides, and it was a tragic accident. I know people don't want to believe that. If everybody had an opportunity to watch the video slide by slide, you could really see that it was never meant to be anything other than that. We had a provocation on the side of two other officers in the BART car, and I think that Johan, unfortunately, got caught up in a situation that got out of hand. But he definitely meant to use his taser. He did not mean to shoot this kid. And he is now, he's suffering. I know that it's hard for them to say he's suffering as much as Oscar's family, but his life is ruined also.
Do you think by chance that, an unarmed man being killed is justified?
I believe that every situation needs to be investigated for the facts, the actual facts, not just because somebody took a video and that's what people think a video looks like. I think people are trained to investigate these kind of incidences, and I don't believe that at any time whatsoever there was any intent to shoot or murder anyone.
Well, now that that has actually happened, what do you think would be a just sentence for Johannes Messerly?
Well, I was thinking that involuntary manslaughter might be what was going to happen. I don't believe the gun enhancement should be part of the issue. I think it's part of a police officer's job to carry a gun. I think one contradicts the other. I do think that he will probably do prison time for it was an accident. There are people who shoot people by accident and go to prison. That's why they have involuntary manslaughter. I think it's just very difficult for the families on both sides.
Thank you very much, Suzanne.
Welcome.
That's why you cowards stand back over there and walk right down here. I've never been in prison, you fucking retard. Why? He's supporting a murder. He's a murderer. He is. How do you figure he's not? How do you figure he is? I watched. Were you there? Did you see all the videos? Yes, I did. I wasn't on the jury, but I was on the justice and the committee for Oscar Grant right after Honest Beverly executed Oscar Grant. Involuntary manslaughter. So I shoot you. If I shoot you once you're handcuffed, that means it's an accident. Too bad. Oops.
Depends on the conditions. If you were
The condition. He wasn't resisting. How can you resist when you're already down on the ground in handcuffs?
I disagree.
Yeah, obviously you didn't see the video. Obviously I did. Why? Hold on.
He was there. You know what else?
I was on the
Wow, all you guys are there. That's pretty awesome. Man, who else? Anyone else?
Full cops. He was on
Jackie, come here, tell this man. His son was right there in handcuffs with Oscar. So you're gonna tell him he was wrong? You're gonna tell that man he was wrong? Jackie, that man right there, his son was in handcuffs.
Standing out here telling us that all cops are racist.
Peroni had no right to punch Oscar Grant the way he did. Brownie walked up and punched. I ain't saying I'm
Well, a lot of your friends are.
my friends. I come out here. I
Okay, all right, here. Now we have a point. Are you talking about all cops, or are you here only because of Johannes Messerly?
I'm here because he's honest. Doesn't
Okay.
happen the way the
So
system is
you go on record saying that you do not think all cops are racist and racist.
I don't know. I couldn't say that because they follow a racist
All right,
system.
you understand?
They're within a
I'm
racist
trying to
system.
find a place that we can both start at. You realize that, right?
Tell me where to start at.
I'm asking you that question. Do you
Tell me where to start at. When Peroni walked up and socked Oscar Grant 3 times in his face. Let's start there. Let's start right there.
Do you think
socked him in the face?
Do you think all cops are racist?
Let's go back to the incident at hand.
No, that's the underlying question. We can't discuss it if you don't answer that question.
You keep skipping the subject. And the
No, the
subject is
subject
Oscar
is,
Grant
do you think
and the
all cops are
execution-
racist?
And the execution of Oscar Grant. Why do you keep avoiding the subject?
Are they all? Are they? I don't.
Why are you avoiding the subject?
If that's gang violence, that's an extra fine.
Do you think all cops are racist?
Shoots a black man, that's 2 years. Wait, no. Let's bump that down to manslaughter. Where Jack come from? Why?
We can. I will agree to come to your level if you come to my level. Then we can talk about this case.
Let's talk about the case.
But first, I need to
I'm
know.
not talking about all police. Let's talk about the officers that were on that platform.
So you don't feel that all cops are racist?
Let's discuss the officers that were just there on that platform that night.
But if I don't understand where you're coming from, I can't have a level discussion with you.
You can have a level discussion with me right off the bat.
If you can tell me, are all cops racist?
The system is racist. May not be all police, but the system is a racist system. Yes.
It's an idiot.
They use racial epithets on people like me and other people who don't agree with their warped opinion in front of their kids. Obviously, they're lacking humanity and civility with the sagging pants, the gold teeth, and their primate mentality or act. So, who's the villain here? Who's the victim here? Who's uncivilized here? They need to read and write. They need to get their hair cut. Stop sagging, profiling. You talking about racial profiling, sagging pants, gold teeth? What is that teaching to their kids?
I don't know.
I'm an Uncle Tom because I'm educated. I'm an Uncle Tom because I believe in civil rights for everybody. Cops, walk of life, regular people, whatever.